Public speakers, I will turn the meeting over to our president. Sir?
Approvals of the minutes.
Okay. We have approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
And there are no changes to the work plan, so we can move right along to the report on operations.
Good afternoon. The report on operations begins on page 17. Traffic was higher in May by 3.2%, with 26.5 million crossings as compared with 25.7 million crossings in May of 2014. May 2015 gas prices averaged $2.78 per gallon, which is $1.06 lower than in May of 14. Precipitation in May 2015 totaled 1.6 inches of rain over 6 days versus 4.7 inches of rain over 13 days in May of 14. Easy Pass volume increased by 4.4% in May of 15 as compared to May of 14, while crossings using cash and other payment methods declined by 2.9%. Passenger car travel was up 3.6%, and other vehicle travel declined by 2.2% from May of 2014. Preliminary monthly traffic figures for June of 2015 are 3.04% more than the same period last year. Father's Day weekend traffic was 1.35% higher than 2014 Father's Day weekend, which included Friday to Sunday. July 4th weekend traffic, Thursday through Sunday, was 7.41% higher than July 4th weekend in 2014. This ends the report on operations. If there are no questions, we'll move on.
Any questions? Moving on.
I'd like to present the report on safety.
Good afternoon. On page 31 and 32 of the chart are graphs showing the 5-year summary of customer collisions, injury collisions, employee accident reports, lost time injuries, and contractor injuries through April 30th, 2015. You can see on page 31 that the total customer collision rate has increased slightly by 1.7%, and the injury collision rate is up 3.7%. On page 32, the number of the employee accident reports have decreased by 21.2%, and the lost time injuries have decreased by 43%. If you don't have any questions or comments, this concludes my report. Thank you.
Moving on to the Easy Pass performance report and financial report.
Thanks, Jim. The Easy Pass report begins on page 33. The market share for the month of May was 85%, up about 1% from the year before. More than 24,000 Easy Pass accounts were opened in May, including more than 11,700 on-the-go accounts, almost 50% of the total. The on-the-go tags sold in the lane continues to be a very good story. We're over 560,000 tags sold in the lane since the program began. If there's no questions on the Easy Pass report, I'll move on to the financial report.
I'll just say one thing. For those of us who travel to New England on a regular basis, where my daughter lives, and last weekend, as you know, I was in New Hampshire and Maine, everybody in New Hampshire and Maine has an Easy Pass, okay? You go through the tolls, there's nobody in the cash lanes at all. My wife turns and says, "How come this doesn't happen at the Throgs Neck Bridge?" I said, "I wish I knew." But it is amazing the difference in opportunities that people take up. You know, in New England, they all have Easy Pass.
I would tell you that during the week, we're experiencing about 88% Monday through Friday Easy Pass market share.
Yeah.
That's up about 10% over the last 5 years. But on the weekend, we've increased, but we're hovering around the 80% mark.
Yeah.
So it's 8 percentage points off the weekday on Easy Pass.
The plaza of the RFK Bridge, according to the statistics, inching and
It
hitting.
is.
Everybody's going up.
Yeah, no,
going
I
up a
would say
lot.
if you look
Yeah.
statistically over the last
Yeah.
5 years, by us selling the tags in the lanes, and you can see from the report, we've sold many tags over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
People are starting to move in that direction, and the delta between cash and Easy Pass is significant. But there are still a portion of people that choose to pay with cash.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay,
Anyway,
the financial report is on page 39. Toll revenue was about $696.6 million, which is 3.2%, $21.6 million better than planned. This is despite a bad January, when we were down almost 1% due to bad weather, as we've discussed. In May alone, we were up almost $7.6 million, or close to 5%. Traffic is up 2.6% against the budget year-to-date, including 5.3% in May. The preliminary June is looking good. Also, revenue, we expect to be up at least $7.5 million and around about 5%. And it looks like traffic preliminarily will be up around 5% against the plan as well for June. Year-to-year, traffic was up more than 3% through May, despite the March toll increase. And the preliminary June results look similar year-to-year. On the expense side, we spent about $165.6 million through May, which is about $21.8 million, 11.7% better than planned. Non-labor costs were about 21% lower, 16.7, primarily timing related, and labor costs were lower as well by about $5.2 million, about 4.8%, primarily due to lower payroll expenses due to vacancies, and overtime is basically at budget. The support to mass transit was almost $439 million through May, which is $63.3 million, almost 17% better than planned. And that concludes the report if there's no questions.
We'll move on to the capital program.
Good afternoon. The report on the capital program begins on page 54. In June, there were 6 commitments made with a value of $3.6 million. Since the report was finalized, an additional 6 commitments have been made in July. Including these July commitments, in total 41 commitments have been made year-to-date with a total value of $265.8 million. And this compares to a planned 51 commitments with a total value of $380.9 million. To date, we have committed approximately 64% of the 2015 annual commitment plan, which is in total $413 million. There were 2 project completions made in June with a total value of $16 million. The major completion achieved in June was the construction of a new fiber optic communication system at the RFK Bridge in the amount of $9.1 million. Year-to-date, there have been 8 project completions with an overall value of $172.5 million. This represents 82% of our 2015 completion goal of $208.5 million. There were 2 task-level closeouts made in June with a value of $61.6 million. And year-to-date, there have been 17 closeouts with a total value of $80.6 million. There are a number of date changes to remaining 2015 commitments shown at the bottom of the page. And unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Okay, we'll move on to the procurements.
Good afternoon. Procurements start on page 65. There are no non-competitive procurements or ratifications this month. There is 1 competitive procurement, which is a contract modification of a personal service contract, which adds support services during construction for the electrical and mechanical rehabilitation at the Marine Parkway Bridge. That's in the negotiated amount of $1,199,972. Unless there are any other questions, this procurement is described in detail in the enclosed staff summary.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that ends our report to the committee.
Okay, well, we ended the meeting pretty quickly, and I will just hope that we're able to as quickly get the overhead Easy Pass program underway. I only have perhaps a couple of months in order for us to get this done, so if we could get to work on that and expedite it, I would appreciate it. So Motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.